That was funky.
Yeah, tell me what are you hearing in Sting's bass playing?
Well, I mean, and he was also letting loose a little bit and actually adding some things in between the bass line stuff. But the bass line, once again, was excellent. And the energy thing that him and Stewart are able to do, it's on top of the beat without speeding up somehow. You know, it creates a lot of energy. Also, you know, he played very often fretless electric bass without the lines.
Yeah.
So he's either playing it by ear, so to speak, as if it was an acoustic bass, or he's using the dots that are on top of the neck to show you where the line would be. But he played a fretless bass with no lines.
But I don't know about you, but that's a pain in the ass. That's not easy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that, you know, not only does he come up with just really great, you know, grooves and accompanying that solo. I mean, he's driving and pushing that thing along, and also he gets great tone. I mean, beautiful sound for the bass.
Yeah. Yep, it's funky.
And,
Real deal.
And he was a Jocko freak like everybody. So, you know, that attention to that tone, I think, probably comes directly from him trying to get that warm, round, but distinct note kind of feel. It's not.
No, when they played live, I don't think he played acoustic bass that much, did he?
I don't think so. Maybe occasionally, but yeah, that's electric bass on all that cut there. And also, you know, to play bass lines and sing at the same time.
That's weird. Yeah. Playing guitar and singing is natural because everything's on the beat together. Jang, jang, da, da, da. You sing and play it ways. It's rhythmically at the same. Whereas bass is generally, the rhythm is opposite from the singing. So you kind of have to be able to be ambidextrous that way.
Yeah. And he is obviously fantastic at doing that. And that's unique, you know. Paul McCartney and him and maybe a couple other people, you know,
that's about it, right? Jack Bruce.
It's a short list, yeah, of having that ability. So that's a virtuosity there of being able to put those two things in your brain, almost like the piano with the two different hands or something, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So next, we have a guy we've mentioned before and talked about, Glen Campbell. And Glen Campbell became a big star in the 70s with his hits like Galveston and By the Time I Get to Phoenix and The Gentle on My Mind, written by the bluegrass banjo player John Hartford, which became one of.
I always think of Wichita Lineman as being
Wichita
tune I like of his.
Yeah. Jimmy Webb, right? Writing these incredible kind of hit tunes with a little bit of jazz chords and a little more sophisticated harmony than your regular old.
That's right. Yeah, the forms are weird. The harmony's unpredictable.
Yeah, and so, but Glen Campbell was first kind of on the scene as a session guitarist, playing on the Beach Boys, Pet Sounds.
Isn't he on everything?
He's on everything, just like Carol Kay.
Yeah, the Wrecking Crew guy. Yeah, he's like
part of the Wrecking Crew. But Brian Wilson kind of realized what an amazing singer he was too, and there's a cut called "I Guess I'm Dumb" that never really made it. But if you track that down, you'll hear an extraordinary vocal performance. I mean, as good as anybody. Absolutely incredible. So not only did he have this incredible guitar ability, but he had the singing ability. And so he was kind of known in music circles and recording circles, first as a guitarist and then a famous pop vocalist. And
now, did he write his own music too?
He rarely wrote any of his songs. He was one of those interpreters who was, whether it was Brian Wilson or John Hartford or Jimmy Webb, always someone else was writing those hit songs. But and so when it came time to kind of find some examples of his instrumental ability, again, kind of hard to find on his own records. Although in the early days he recorded an all-instrumental album of 12-string guitar, which we're going to hear on our 12-string guitar episode.
Of course.
We're saving that for that. But on a lot of videos, again, live, he would take out these showcase numbers like the William Tell Overture or Classical Gas. And there were these kind of big, showy showcase numbers where he showed off his, or Orange Blossom Special, famous bluegrass fiddle tune, and really show off those chops. But if you check out YouTube, you can find a lot of great stuff. There's a early recording of him doing a 9-Pound Hammer, a classic bluegrass song where he plays just the killer 12-string guitar solo. It's just like perfection. You go like, that's a perfect solo, and then again, some of these other videos where he really shows off his amazing chops on guitar. So I stumbled upon an album called Ernie Sings and Glen Picks, and it's with Tennessee Ernie Ford singing, who was a big star back in the day, and an interesting guy who did interesting arrangements and interesting songs, actually, when you get back into his catalog. And it's just Tennessee Ernie Ford singing some old classic tunes and Glenn just playing guitar. And I thought what was kind of unique about this was, one, you really get to kind of isolate and hear his guitar playing without bands and orchestras and all that.
Yeah, the Nashville thing, yeah, right.
And all the strings and everything. And so I thought this was a fun cut. And you get to hear a different side to his singing that's not just the hot kind of bluegrass-inspired flat-picking stuff or his kind of rock and roll stuff, but gives a little bit more of a bluesy thing, and you get to hear his mastery over the tone and the twang.